Hey guys, today's the last sector's K1 Communion on the Moon. There's going to be 3 barriers and 2 overloads. We're going to be playing Arc Warlock today with Crown of Tempest. Getting into the build guide, we're going to be using Healing Rift with Chain Lightning because it can stun overloads, as well as Storm Grenades. For the aspects, we're going to be using Electrostatic Mind. Defeating targets with Arc abilities or defeating jolted or blinded targets creates an Ionic Trace, as well as Arc Soul, so every time we pop our Healing Rift, we will get a little bit of extra damage from our Arc Soul. For the first fragment, we're going to be using Spark of Beacons. While you are amplified, your special weapon, Final Blows, create a blinding explosion. Spark of Shock, your Arc Grenades control targets. Spark of Discharge, Arc Weapon Final Blows have a chance to create an Ionic Trace. And Spark of Feedback. Taking melee damage briefly increases your outgoing melee damage. Moving on to the weapons, we're going to be using an auto rifle for the barriers. Scavenger Salvo so we can get our grenade back quicker, as well as Leviathan's Breath for boss damage as well as champion damage. On the artifact, we're going to be using an anti-barrier auto rifle with Elemental Orbs Arc, Elemental Fury, so our abilities as well as Elemental Orbs will do extra damage to stun champions. Refreshing Pickups, picking up a Tangle or Elemental Orb grants energy to your least powered ability, as well as Elemental Munitions. Getting a kill with an Elemental Orb has a chance to drop special or heavy ammo. Moving on to the mods, on the helmet we're going to be using Ashes to Assets, so we get extra super energy when we get a grenade kill, with 2 Harmonic Siphon mods for the Scavenger Salvo. On the gloves we're going to have a firepower since we're going to be getting mini grenade kills and we want to generate orbs with those, as well as Bolter Ring Detonations, so when we cause damage with our grenade it will grant class ability energy back. On the chest plate we're going to have 2 arc resistance mods and a solar resistance since there is a lot of arc damage in this lost sector and a medium amount of solar damage. On the boots we're going to have a recuperation, so when we pick up an orb it will heal 70 HP. Absolution, so when we pick up an orb it will reduce all of our ability cooldowns, and an innervation, so we get a little bit more grenade energy back per orb pickup. On the bond, we're going to be having a powerful attraction mod with a distribution and a bomber. Getting started off with the Lost Sector, this first room will have a barrier champion in it. We are just going to be killing everything in here until the barrier spawns. Getting our conduction tines from our helmet is a plus if you can get that stacked up. With ×3 conduction times, we have 500% cooldown on our grenades and melees, which is actually why I prefer this over Fallen Sunstar. Once we take out the barrier, the doorway will open. I decided to take him out without using my Leviathan's Breath, just so I made sure I had enough for the final boss, even though I will have a ton of ammo left over. The second room will have another barrier in it, which yet again will spawn in once we kill most of the enemies in the room. Once we kill the barrier and the rest of the enemies in the room, we can go through the doorway. We have the ability to get 2 Chaos Reaches on this Lost Sector, so I'm just going to use it now, because I know I will get a second one back for the boss. This Jolt Orb will be nice, but it's not super necessary, as you can stun this overload with your melee, your grenade, or the ball. Now that we're approaching the boss room, there will be another overload here. Once we defeat the overload, we're just going to spend the rest of the time killing the rest of the vandals and dregs. Killing most of them will spawn in a heavy shank. Once we defeat this heavy shank, the boss will spawn in. The game plan for the boss is just to jolt him and then pop our super. It'll get him to about half HP. Now we're just going to hide over here and start shooting Leviathan's Breath at him. As long as we don't kill all the vandals in the area, the third barrier will not spawn, and we do not need to kill the third barrier if it doesn't spawn. Once you've killed the boss, you can loot the chest. Happy farming.